Hey guys, I'm Brittany,
I'm Maria.
and this is the Be More podcast. And full stop, Maria and I already got into a full-on conversation and realized that we should have been recording it. So,
Yeah, we've been on the Zoom call for like 8 minutes, it says. We've been talking already. And
and
we're
we
like,
just didn't hit record.
yeah.
And then we
It's
were like, what
also,
are we going to talk about? And then just started having a conversation, and we're like, wait, we should probably start recording.
well, to be fair, it's also night. It's nighttime edition here at the Be More podcast again.
Yeah, and
So
this is what happens when we allow that, which is why we need somebody else to join us and help us oversee the fact that this is
we
not.
need like a moderator.
So Maria and I were having a conversation. We will be having a chat in the future about our takes on different visual content in the
Hmm.
Netflix things, which is
Yeah.
what we started talking about. But Maria just asked me about what I'm reading, and I think it's funny that you asked me about what I'm reading when you're the person right now who is in a stressful part of your life, and you're like, I can't take on new stuff.
It's funny because like it's manga, but I'm still reading, which is
Fun.
odd enough. Odd enough, honestly. I feel like this busy season somehow feels different and I can take on other things. I don't know what it is with my brain, but again, every busy season is different. And right now I
You
can,
know how to function in the trauma.
yes, yes. So after 7 busy seasons, I finally
Finally got
understand how
there.
to balance my life.
Congratulations.
Hey, look, it's different every year. We'll talk again next year.
Oh, good God. But I
Yeah.
was telling Maria, so for those of you who don't watch the YouTube version, I wasn't home last week. My
Oh
husband and
yeah.
I were kind of emergency evacuated from our apartment because I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to live this part of my life, but there was some
But
situation.
everything, yeah,
All that
everything was
matters is
fine.
everything's okay.
Everything's fine. No, it wasn't. If anything, I mean, it could be worse. It could have
It
been
could
worse,
totally have been worse.
but
It
it was
could.
caught early. So like that was
Uh, it was
early enough.
caught. Yes. There you go. It was caught at all and not
Yeah.
completely dismantling. But Maria, it's just funny that you brought up that question because I am an avid reader and we talk about this a lot. I'm always reading something. I'm usually always
Yes.
reading two different books. And because so many parts of my life have been moving forward while the ceiling was falling, literally, I like one of the things that I cut out was reading. I wasn't making time for it the way I usually would.
Hmm.
But I was telling Maria that prior to the madness, after listening to an interview that she did that I casually came upon, I did not know that Alicia Keys wrote a book during the pandemic, or she published a book during the pandemic. Did you know that?
No, I mean no, and also I'm not surprised because random people have written books throughout the
Yeah,
pandemic.
yeah.
Okay.
But I heard her talking a little bit about it, and the context that she was talking about it in was related to self development and self leadership and
Uh huh.
self actualization
Okay.
and understanding yourself when it's always funny when the universe really just knows how to get me. She started talking about how she lived so much of her life through her career having everybody else define who she was, and
Okay.
she had to go through her self-realization and self-discovery period, and I'm have been deep into that path for a while now. So I started reading her book. It's called More Myself, and I'm very, very close to the end. But we grew up with her as this really impactful artist, right? Like we
Yeah.
were
Correct.
coming of age as she was becoming this huge, amazing impact player in the musical industry or the music
Hmm.
industry. And I did not, because there was just enough of a gap that she was older than us. I didn't know a lot of her story, right? Like people like, if you think about people like the Jonas Brothers or like Ariana Grande or even like Justin Bieber, they're close to
Yeah.
we
We're
are,
close enough.
yeah, and like when you look at even people who are further away from us, like Britney Spears and like
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake and
Christina Aguilera.
thank you, that's exactly who I was thinking of, Christina Aguilera, like all of those they and even like J-Lo, I mean, is a different generation of musicians,
Hmm.
but like when they were really big when they were already really big when we were little. So it was like
Hmm.
we grew up a lot with those artists in the early 90s. And then
Yeah.
like the Ariana Grandes and Justin Biebers and all of that were like we were around the same age as them when they started,
Yeah.
or close enough in age to them when they were becoming really popular, and like the Taylor Swifts and things like that. I'm saying like they're multiples, but I'm talking about that generation.
Yeah, that generation.
um, but like Alicia Keys was in there, but
Yeah.
not really, and she was so R&B, and she wasn't pop, like she wasn't
It
super
was it was
mainstream.
the piano.
Right, it
Really,
was.
right? Like it was unique enough at that time.
Yeah, and
Um,
she was super misunderstood, right? Like, and like her major hits that came out over the years, that's how I had access to her, right? Like I didn't really
yeah, and that was it.
so much of the underlying
Like,
music
the
had.
side tracks. Like I didn't go search out Alicia Keys' full album. Like it
Yeah,
was like whatever was the top 40 and she was in it. I was like, yeah, I know that
truthfully,
song.
and
Yeah.
I was always curious about her because
Mm-hmm.
I've always been mesmerized by classical music, but I was never, and I think a lot of that was because of my upbringing and like my appreciation for ballets when I was little.
Uh-huh.
My That was how I got in, like I really got started in dance.
Mm-hmm.
My great aunt, she'll kill me if she ever hears this. My aunt was always infatuated with the performing arts, and when I was very little, she used to like to take me to see like ballets,
That's
and
cool.
like she said that I would like stand, like if we were up at like the balcony area,
Yeah.
like, I would stand at like the edge,
Yeah.
just like you couldn't move me for like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
lengths of the so I think that I had a real big draw towards classical music and towards like the piano from
Piano
age.
pieces. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, just once I hit a certain age, like didn't, pop culture influences a lot of our relationship with music when we're young. Um,
Uh-huh.
Now like Baby Shark is the definition for most kids coming up. That's
Baby
very,
Shark.
and that just dawned on me that like that's the definition of music for so many kids, like, and for so many kids that like it's synthetic music. Oh my God, I'm concerned. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. I
Back to square
digress.
one. Yeah, yeah,
But so yeah, so I always had some like infatuation with her and that connection, and I didn't know her history as an artist and as a musician, and
yeah. Mm-hmm.
she her story is just like there was a hand on her, like a universal intelligence hand on her, like that.
Okay.
The you like it's very interesting. She has like a sense of self, and I really I believe that when artists are she really is the level of connection that she has to the piano and the way she talks about it and describes it and like the
Mm.
cultivating of that relationship.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a whatever her greater sense of knowledge or connection is to whatever higher power, it like manifests itself in music for her. And I really do think that she like there was a hand on her like making, she talks about like how her talks about her like her whole life in this book, and she talks about it as
Mm-hmm.
being a black woman. She talks about it as being a some for coming from like the hood. She talks like as in like socioeconomic status. She talks about it as a
Yeah.
female. Like she talks about, and it's interesting in our conversations all the time that we have here, we talk about all of the systems and all of the isms, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
she has connection to so many of the
Of those sectors of life
that
and
have been
whatnot.
some that have experienced some type of suppression, right,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
oppression.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I have just bundles of more respect for her, and a big part of her journey she talks about
Mm-hmm.
other people trying to have a hand on who she is and what that was like for her and how she lost herself and she had to redefine herself and the
Yeah, probably because they just have the surface level knowledge of who she is,
right,
right?
right.
Because at that level of fame, everyone thinks they know you probably to
She
some
did a really
capacity.
good job of, she's not, especially now, like a lot of younger people don't know who she is. Like she
She's pretty low key.
yeah, she still has a hand in the music industry and
Yeah,
in ways that I really did not even know about. Like
really.
Bruno Mars started singing with her. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Like
Or I do.
Bruno Mars, because he started working like partially because of the fact that he was and John Legend used to sing for her.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
right? Like I didn't know any of this. So it, and she talks about these things like really humbly in the book, but just like a huge hand in like the world of R&B, and the she really created her own genre of music in the way that she worked with the piano, and like it just
Yeah,
really fascinating, super
cause
fascinating.
who else at that time? I guess early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Was it just like Vanessa Carlton with 1,000 Miles or whatever? But like other than
And
that,
we
it's
still
just
had a little bit of oh my God, Alanis Morissette, right?
a little bit. Yes, yeah, yeah,
Like and
that's
like
true.
she,
And those are like more pop rock as opposed
yeah,
to
and
pop
they're
R as opposed to pop R&B where like
and this like the soulfulness,
yeah,
and like the jazz, and like the
especially from a woman.
right, like it was,
Yeah,
yeah, I always
respect.
saw her as somebody, yeah, I always saw her as somebody who came off like a little bit serious, like I don't really know you and I want to
Yeah.
know more about you, and like I always had a very strong like respect for her, like the song No One, like there are a couple of
Oh yeah,
she's done, but
classic.
I've done a little bit more of a deep dive into some of her music, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she's just, I don't know, there's something about it. There's something about it. So that is what I've been reading. Shout out to Alicia Keys. She also is a really big philanthropist for the AIDS movement and the
Oh
AIDS.
really?
And she tells her story about what she saw when she went to Africa. And I like I reading her book, I learned a shit ton about the world that I didn't know through her eyes. And she did an amazing job sharing
Mm-hmm.
that story and having it be something that's impactful. So now I'm kind of curious. This is one of the few, like, I don't know if it's really necessarily like a biography
Mm-hmm.
or that I've read, but I am now very interested in like reading artists, specifically art. Like, I don't give a flying fart about the politicians. I don't give a flying fart about like any of the people that people might care about. Like the artists who are underground and are doing the work that are defining
Mm-hmm.
our pop culture, right? In a way that maybe like they have hands on the strings, but they're not outright on the stage all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Freaking curious now.
And yeah, it's actually really cool to read because I've read a few biographies, if you will. I guess they're yeah, because they're just recountings or memoirs, I don't know,
Yeah,
of
like I mean,
their life.
I don't know what I don't know what
Whatever they want to whatever
artists.
genre they want to pick for their book, but of like YouTube influencers that I follow since like middle school
Hmm.
to like now, like, and it's like the same thing where it's like you see them for like a 5 minute video, 30 minute video every week or whatever week you keep clicking back, but like behind the scenes they're like, battling mental illness, like,
People, yeah,
poverty, like all this stuff. Nothing's really happy other than the 30 minutes or, however long video.
yeah, and
So
that's just like the exploit of what media does.
yeah,
To,
it's not a secret. Like obviously, like, you know, you're not
that
always
this is
happy
the
out.
world we live in.
Yeah, yeah. So, but no, I
That's a
do like
huge aspect of what you're gonna like. You're gonna kind of laugh at, but also be like, "This is really annoying that we know this and aren't doing any better." In the movie that we were talking about before.
fair enough. Um, but yeah, that's cool. Alicia Keys. I didn't even know when you said Alicia Keys, you're like, oh, we should probably start recording. Like, what happened to Alicia Keys?
Yeah, no, no, nothing happened. She is, yeah, definitely even more respect now, and in a spiritual level, in like
Mm-hmm.
a boss lady level, in like an artist level, as a person. Like, just I definitely have a lot of respect for a lot of her. Did you watch the new season of Cheer yet?
Yes,
Okay,
I just finished it yesterday.
did
Actually,
you
damn. Now we can
remember?
talk about this.
Okay, do you remember? And the reason why I want to streamline to this,
Episode 6, Jerry.
well, not even that, not even that. Remember that the scene I told you about with the like the fangirling?
Was that like the first few episodes? Pause. I was at Barnes and Noble today. Guess who also wrote a book? Not Jerry.
You.
Monica, the cheer coach. I was scrolling. I was walking by to their new. I guess it's a new nonfiction, and I think it's called Full Out. For all the Fallouts that they do or whatever. And I think it's like a biography or memoir, if you will. So she also has a book. Speaking of people with books, Brittany's not amused.
I have a lot of. I
Oh,
have
I don't know what it's about. I just saw her face on it. I was like, oh,
But
she has a book.
okay, so now I can bring this up. So anybody who hasn't seen Cheer yet, I don't think this is a spoiler, but there's a scene where the new team is coming into practice and there are those two little tiny tots outside just losing their mind over them.
Oh my god, Gabby! And
Right, okay. So
dressed
the
up as them,
the
like
reason
as
why I
Navarro
got
cheer.
the reason why I got there is because I now have a level I now have a fangirl level of respect for Alicia Keys in a way I would never. I don't know. I don't think I could ever get. I don't think I could. I really don't. I really don't know unless it was like. I don't even. What do you even? I can't even think of a situation where I would get like this because just think of people as people. I will actually tell you that I am actually full of shit right now because there is a medical doctor who specializes in working with dancers that I got to work with over the weekend who I've been a really big fan of.
Uh-huh.
And they gave me a compliment and I didn't know how to
How to accept that?
talk to myself in the moment. So
Uh,
maybe I'm full of shit, but I can't see myself. The reason why I made this connection is because I thought like I have this level of fangirl respect for Alicia Keys now, but then the second I thought fangirl, I went to those little girls in the Cheer episode, and I was like, wait, no, I don't, not like that. But I'm happy that you watched that now because did that not make you uncomfortable? Like, am I a weirdo?
no, you're not a weirdo. I think. Do you know what a parasocial relationship is?
No,
Have you heard the term? Okay. And I
absolutely
needed
not.
to,
No.
as you were talking, I was like, this sounds like what you're describing is a parasocial relationship. So I'm just gonna, because I googled it real quick, because I think this will clear something up. So it's a parasocial relationship. It's a one-sided relationship where one person extends emotional energy, interest, and time, and the other party, the persona, is completely unaware of the other's existence. So this is most common with celebrities, organizations such as sports teams or TV stars.
The idea,
Correct?
so,
Correct?
but isn't that also like what the basis of being a stalker is?
Yes, but I think the consequences of this is like, fangirling
Fangirling.
to
Okay.
an extent that's unhealthy. Like I fangirl over a lot of bands and like musicians and
Yeah.
artists, but like not to the point where like I don't know.
Like, oh my God, I
Like
want to
yeah,
embody you. I want to wear
like I
your
like
skin
I
as
like
my skin.
right. I like love BTS and Twice, two K-pop mega groups, whatever, but like I'm not like dressing up like them or like acting like them or like so
Right.
emotionally invested. Like, and this is where like a lot of fangirls get like bad raps. You see all the K-pop like fangirls, fanboys all over the internet, and they're like super protective over the members of the group, like as if they were friends. Like to that
Like,
point, like that's scary. Like
yeah.
like they
Especially
don't
because,
know
like,
you.
right, boo, I don't know you. I
Like
remember, and it's like, and I know the moment of, I know when that line gets crossed, it's exciting because it's like, oh my gosh, my normal life, this person's in it for a second, you know? Because, like,
like
I
it's
remember,
very exciting. Like duh.
right. And you're allowed to have that moment of, like,
But I think the
in the same world as this person.
but
Like,
I think, and also like to paint the picture if people haven't watched Cheer, it's literally just two girls waiting outside of I don't know, like Navarro College's like
so
campus, basically,
uncomfortable.
right? Okay, like, and they're not even competing. I think they were just there. Like, so like it's one thing if you were there for like them performing and it was a performance thing and people are there to cheer you on, like they're there in the they're
Right.
there
And
with
you're
other
there in
people.
support, you're there in
Right.
solidarity, you
But
look a
the
little less
fact
crazy
right, but the fact that they were just there.
on a
Like
Tuesday.
on a
Like, do
random
something.
afternoon
No.
dressed up as the cheerleaders and just emotionally
And
and they're spitting
screaming.
and they're just
Not
spitting out facts about these
it.
cheerleaders. Do you remember that? Like the
I
children were like,
told I
I love
told you
Gabby on this
I
team and I followed Gabby on this team or whatever it
was
was.
so uncomfortable. I watched that and I was so uncomfortable. And you want to know what it made me think of?
Mhm.
Um oh God, I gotta look at the lyrics to the song.
Is
So
it Stan? Is it Stan by Eminem and Dino?
no, but
Because
do
that's
you
where the term Stan came from. Did you know that?
No, wait, go back. What?
Standing someone. You know that term, I would hope, right? Are you on the internet enough to know what standing is?
No.
So like
You're gonna say, "Are you on the internet enough?" What the answer is to that? All of this, then.
So standing someone or something is like those girls standing Gabby from Navarro College for the cheerleader. Like you are a hardcore fangirl, fanboy of someone or something. Standing. So that gets thrown around now. The I can't believe I'm explaining this to you.
I don't know what
and then
might as well have just dropped onto the face of the earth at this point.
and then the verbiage "stan" is from the Eminem and Dido song "Stan." Do you remember that song back in the day? Damn.
Play it. I'll play it.
Yeah.
Guys,
We'll take a quick intermission while Brittany plays this song.
I also gotta look up hold on. I also have to look up the song that I'm thinking of by Sleeping with Sirens that's related to the conversation we're having right now. Okay, wait. There's a song that Dido is in. First of all, throwback's real hard. I love Dido.
With Eminem called "Stan," and this is where standing comes from.
Okay,
yes.
right.
You've heard the song. You'll remember the chorus at least. You'll remember Dido
Guys,
singing.
it is from 2000.
I love this song.
2000.
I love this song.
Oh my god! The second I started playing it, I don't think I ever referred to it as that song. And the second I started playing, it's not even actual music, guys. It's like sound effect. And like I was like, yes, I know.
Yes. You know this song? Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I know this song. Know every line of this song.
I was gonna say you know this song.
I don't refer when people talk. That's why I can't think of the song that I am referring to at Sleeping with Sirens. I don't do song names. I can tell you this is like me when it's like me and people's names. I don't do name. I don't know why. That's a weird thing. There must be something weird there behind that as I'm thinking about this. Yeah. I don't remember the names of things or the names of people most of the time, but I can tell you every lyric, and like with people, I can tell you why I know them, what their face looks like what distinct facial feature they have. I can't tell you their goddamn name though. I think I have to play this song now for people. Yeah. I would just like you to know that I pressed play and it didn't even go to 1 second on the song before I realized like what song it was. That's the madness.
We're gonna get copyrighted. Cut that right now.
You're so right. Well, we're talking about it. We're saying what it is. Yeah. But
yes, you know the whole lyrics and like it's about a fanboy writing to Eminem.
Yes. Standing. And when his life goes wrong and things go wrong, he like blames it on him. So,
Stan culture.
Okay. Now,
got it.
Now I'm with you.
We got her to 2022, y'all.
Like age is only a number. Year is only a number. And I am a true meaning of age is only a number, my friends, because I go in like, sometimes I'm younger, sometimes I'm older. Who knows? Was it because of the song that became?
I don't remember when standing became a term, but it is from that. So yes, it is from that song. I don't know who started it, but stan culture is from that. From the 2000s hit from Eminem and Dido. I jammed out to that song when we were younger. That was a fucking great song.
It is a good song. I'm trying to figure out what song I was referring to, and it's bothering me.
You know the lyrics to the Sleeping with Sirens song?
I'm singing it in my head, and I can't get to the chorus because I keep going, like, I can't put all of it together. No, now every single Sleeping with Sirens song is going through my head. It's a song that talks about, like, the rivalry that they have with, like, another band and how it's, like, good for you, like, all of these little kids, like, all of these little people, like, these younger people idolize you. And, like, you have all, like, talking about how, like, you have all of these fans, but.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's going to bother me. It's going to come to me later. Once we're done with this, I'm going to be going through and listening to the entire collection of music by Sleeping with Sirens so that I can find the song.
Just to talk about parasocial relationships.
Yes. But yeah, so that bothered me when I watched Cheer. And I think that to any extent, when I see people doing that, it makes me uncomfortable. I've never been
so enamored by a celebrity to that extent.
Like
Yeah.
my mom and I ended up like front row at that Cher concert, and I was like, oh my god, it's Cher. Like there's a really high level of respect that I have,
Yeah,
right?
but yeah, fair.
But not, I don't,
But you're not like stalking their every move.
right. So like even when you bring up things to me with like, oh, did you hear about this or did you hear about that person? Like even like pop culture when people are like, they know everything the Kardashians do and they know everything, even if it's not the Kardashians. Like even people do it with like politicians or like
Yeah.
I barely have time to keep up with my own life. Why in God's name would I be doing that for somebody else that is not anywhere in the realms of my influence or
It's
actual?
it's entertainment. It's
Is it
entertainment.
though?
I think it's entertaining sometimes.
I
But I'm not standing them.
right. No, I get.
You know, like I'm not like,
The cat is losing his mind. I don't know what's going on
oh,
inside. Um,
like my personality isn't based on the fact that I'm a BTS or Twice stan.
right.
I just called myself a stan. It's like
I know. I actually, you want to know what's more impressive, that I was following you on the entire reference.
yeah,
Um, I get it. I get it. I don't know. It's just
because you can tell. Here's the other thing for people that again haven't watched this Cheer thing. It's their whole personality, these children, and we're talking children. We're talking like I don't know, 8-year-olds, if you will.
and I see it. So like the way it happens in the cheer world, it happens in the dance world too, especially because of
I was
dance.
gonna ask, is that like pretty standard
Especially
for?
because of dance moms, and now
Okay.
there's a new generation of like TikToker, Instagram reel dancers too.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I why would you let your child's I don't understand. I could
I guess there's some line right that they cross. That's
that
like
there had
it'd be one thing if like they're like, oh, Navarro Cheer, they're competing at XYZ. We should go watch.
also, but like there should be a very clear reason as to why you have respect for somebody, and the fact that their face is on a screen is not a good enough reason.
Oh, true.
You know what I'm
Because
saying? Like that,
probably because they probably have never heard of them until
right,
before or just
right.
college, right? Yeah, or until before the Cheer series
And
came
it's
out
the
on
same
Netflix.
thing with just
Also,
because
they're too young to be watching that anyway.
agreed, but just because somebody has a lot of followers or they're a public figure isn't a good, at least if people get to the point where they're going to idolize an artist, right? Somebody who's put something out into the world, who's created something, right? You can be like, I like their this, so I like so for perfect example, right? Like we're both really big Mayday Parade fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I will never forget the day when Dan and I went to Warp Tour, and Derek drove right by us on a bike and was just like hanging out
Yeah.
eating a lollipop, and I was like,
Whoa.
I had a moment. I was like,
Yeah.
"What's going on with that?" I was like, and then when he went by us, I like stopped after a couple seconds and processed what happened and looked at Dan. I was like, "That was definitely Derek. Like,
Yeah.
it just happened." Like
You cherish those moments, but it's not like you're searching for them every second of your
right,
life.
and I had that moment, and I know of him,
And that's more than enough.
his artwork, right? Like I like his music. I like what they're
Yeah.
I like that. There's a depth to that, and I'm sorry, but even with the Kardashians, what
Yeah.
what have now, right? There's some like business background, there's some like media stuff, like they've done some stuff, but like what
Yeah.
level of depth do you have to your respect to them? It's because they're good looking, it's because they're wealthy, it's because,
Yeah, go ahead.
and the answer is yes, and I know the answer is yes, and that's just not good enough for me. And
To the point of being a stan, right? Like,
right,
because I enjoy watching the Kardashian show because it's so fucking funny to me. Like,
I agree.
I just think it's so funny.
I don't disagree
I
at
like
all.
need to know. I just like need to know. But like, I'm
And
not literally like I don't idolize.
no,
anyone.
and sometimes it is, and they're brilliant again, and I can totally respect to the empire they've created for their.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant.
Sometimes it is really entertaining to be like, wow, you have the life that you have, and like you're all this messed up, right? Or like you're fighting over something stupid, like and it's sometimes can be a good. I mean, I know that most people don't watch it and think that, but sometimes it could be a good thing to watch for that to be like, well, even when you have all of this, what do you have?
Yeah, right.
But
It's
right,
entertaining.
and it what
Same
makes
thing with
me
like
so
the Real
scared.
Housewives. Like
See,
the real like
I
like
was never.
any like TLC show, really. It's
I
like,
I could I don't under even with like The Bachelor, I don't
oh, I don't watch that.
understand.
Yeah, but that
I
like
don't
dating
understand.
shows, reality
I don't
TV.
understand.
But we all watch it still.
I know, but I don't understand it.
I feel like if you can pinpoint the history, it started, well, yes, it did start with the Real World, but then Jersey Shore
I
happened.
know. Well, I will tell you, I 100%. That was probably the only like real reality, well, not really real reality, but like reality show that I watched from beginning to end.
Jersey
Um,
Shore.
because I thought it was
It's
hysterical. Yeah, I thought
hysterical.
it was funny.
Well, they're back, right? There's a new Jersey Shore. Kate's generation is watching it now, and they think it's so funny. I'm like, oh, I was there when the note was written. Don't even.
Like I do remember it being entertaining, and I remember, but if they weren't from New Jersey, I probably wouldn't have
They're from Staten Island.
there. I know, but I'm saying if it wasn't, they weren't doing it in a place that, and like that was happening at the right time where we were like teens, so like we
We
knew
were
all
like middle school, high
stuff.
school.
Yeah, but we were
Yeah.
well enough to know all of those things and like know where they were and what they were doing.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we got to get older and go there and do those. So like it was just well timed and
Yeah.
just
For the people in Jersey, New York, yeah, we were
right.
like,
It was
yeah,
within
Jersey
our
Shore.
radius.
Yeah.
But like if it would have happened anywhere else, I probably wouldn't have even
Yeah,
cared.
because like even like because there's like the OC, Laguna Beach that were also on the West Coast, but that didn't hit.
Yeah, it just
You know,
wasn't. Yeah, so I don't know, and it's not to say that like I please don't take this as like the wrong way. I wish sometimes I feel very othered when I can't relate to people when they talk about like they follow the Bachelorette religiously. That's just
I don't. Yeah, I don't
I'm
subscribe to
not
any
saying
other.
that like you're bad or I'm better or
No, it's just
worse. It's just
the
I don't
intake of content that we, it's
I
different.
just don't I can't relate to it and I don't understand it and I know I'm weird and I can't be a part of conversations around it and it just is what it is. I don't.
Oh, don't even worry about it because I don't watch any of that, and it's really just the different intake of content that we all consume. Because like
Yeah, for
I'm more
sure.
towards documentary series, and cheer just happened to be one of them because it was like, oh, weird, documentary about cheerleading. I've never, you know, my best friend was a
Yeah.
cheerleader, but like I don't know what the fuck cheerleading is, like competition wise. So I watched it and I was like, oh, very interesting, and it blew the fuck up. And now it's become a pop culture icon.
But it was I think the reason why I was okay with it was because you were even and for myself too, even in that perspective, I wasn't watching it to follow the people involved. I was watching it to get a better understanding of something that seemed
Culture, cheer culture.
right, exactly something that seemed interesting to me.
Like you like like the
What
characters. Jesus, they're people. You like the people there. You're like, oh, they're on the show,
but
very
you're
nice people.
also like,
But I'm not
yeah,
like
you're
I'm not
watching them
standing
as
them.
like this is their life and they're a part
Yeah.
of this culture and like that's what makes it interesting. But like I don't care past that.
Right past that, I'm like, I'm not trying to follow their
What
life.
culture would I be possible? What I think you hit the nail on the head. Like what culture am I tapping into by watching The Bachelorette? Dating culture? I didn't want to be a part of dating culture when I was a part of dating culture. I don't want to be reminded of dating culture.
I mean, I don't know. Like, what is
I don't
your?
know.
I think it's
That's
just pure
you
entertainment. Like
need to
people
ask
just
somebody who was like a super hard invested in like those types of like that type of series to know
what they're trying to get out of it. I think it's just
like
pure
what
entertainment
high they get from it.
because it is like a high, honestly.
Yeah. Oh
For
yeah.
those
And
people
like
that
the level of addiction when it's running.
then again, like I watch RuPaul's Drag Race now. Like I just started watching
Hmm.
from like the beginning ish. Like I jumped around seasons, but like Hulu has like the first 8 seasons
I remember
of
watching them pretty
and
consistently when they
and
were
then
like
the All Star
airing
seasons, yeah, and then the
those
All Star
seasons.
seasons are like there's like 5 of them on Hulu, whatever. So and they're up to season 14 or something. But I like in like that instance where I'm like I was like addicted for like a couple of weeks. It was like my personality, like you know, it was like it was
Wait, I close my eyes and I see like a RuPaul's Drag Race version of Maria, and it's
I mean, I'm not like,
Loves to
it's
bring
the lingo,
derision
like the
with it.
lingo and like
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
get
all that
that.
shit. So it's like it's
But you're
entertaining,
watching,
but
it's
I'm
entertaining because you're watching a creative process unfold.
yeah, that's true. As opposed
That's
to
what
like
I
The
always liked.
Bachelor
I liked watching what they make, watching what they create. Just like the Brit, like
and
I binge watched the Great British Baking Show. Like I like seeing,
that's very good too.
right?
Yeah,
Like
like
that's all of those shows about.
and
I
the chef, like the
Project
cooking
Runway.
shows.
I
Yeah.
remember like
I love Project
When
Runway.
America's Next Top Model was one of the first things that like started that whole like look, let's watch the process of what it's like to be
Yeah.
the process of becoming and like working in the arts, which is really cool. But
Yeah.
we were watching a process happen and we
That's
wanted
true.
to see the like go through the process to see the end result. So creativity, it's cool to follow that. What what am I watching when I'm watching the Kardashians' everyday life? Like what is the end goal? What am I
The end goal is to laugh.
don't have I don't understand.
I yes, true. Because I also kind of watch Real Housewives of New York, and it's pure bullshit every
Right.
episode.
Like there's no
There's no substance. It's like
to give
it's just
you an analogy, when you're watching the Great British Baking Show, yes, there's a lot of layers to it, but you get in the car, the GPS destination of that show is to see what they make. You get in the car for the Real Housewives, all you get is angry,
bickering.
confused, and you're just driving in circles and sitting in traffic on Long Island. Like that's what you're doing.
Yeah. And you know what?
And I think it's a I get it. It's entertaining. It's different from the norm. It's escapism. I understand
And that's what it is, right? Escapism, probably.
of TV these days. I get the purpose
Yeah.
of TV. I'm right there with you. I'm an emotionally unstable person. I am not 100% a mentally healthy, individual. I understand the need for escapism. That's just not my go-to. My escapism TV is like Rick and Morty or
Yeah.
like stuff that just makes me laugh and is either it's just so far away from real life because I'll watch the Real Housewives and be like, this is someone's real life.
Yeah, no, that's real. That's
And
some real life shit.
it would just make me mad. It would just make me real mad. So I gotta go to the far, and that's exactly why Maria and I asked Maria if she had watched Don't Look Up. That's why I had all the feels when I had with Don't Look Up, because even though it's a comedy and even though it's a fictional story, there are way too many parallels to real life. And it just made me super uncomfortable. So now I'm gonna watch, probably after we're done, I'm probably gonna watch like a Disney movie. It just takes me away. It makes me feel well, I'm sure I'll find a reason to be mad at it. I find a reason to be mad at most things. So
Well, I mean, I guess like
jaded spirit right there.
to your point, like Disney movies and Real Housewives and other reality TV shows can be kind of the same thing, if you will.
Yeah,
Escapism.
they serve the same purpose.
Yeah.
It's whatever you need. Just
At
like
that moment.
this is gonna take a sharp turn, but the truth of it is, people have different forms of addiction because they
Some people really love
from different types of highs, right? Or different types of So, I mean,
how did we get here from parasocial relationships?
I was talking about the one moment of myself. I went from respecting Alicia Keys to talking about standing and
I mean,
the life of a famous person is just, I can't. And she, again, this is something she talks about and why she's been so low key, because I can't imagine. I can't imagine being a regular person is really such a blessing.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be
such a blessing.
A celebrity.
The only thing that, like, it's so great to be known by people who actually know you and be recognized by people who actually know you, or when you're working for a cause and be acknowledged for that. But I can't imagine a situation like your normal experiences are that there are, for every one person you know on this earth, there's billions of people who know you, right? Or know about you. Like the concept of that.
It's overwhelming, I'm sure.
Right. Like I just, it's.
Yeah. Whew. That makes sense. Yeah, it's too much. Like, I don't like even being perceived by anyone, so.
I walk down a ShopRite aisle, and if there's someone I know, try to evasive maneuver like a mofo because I don't want to be seen in public. So
yeah, so imagine, they can't do normal things.
It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And like I was saying, I can turn it on. If I'm just being myself and I'm out for the sake of me as a person, I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to be completely avoided. Like, I don't want you to see me. But when I go out for the work that I'm doing and a lot of what I do and advocating for whatever I'm working towards, like I have an intent behind what I'm doing and I'll show up for that, right? I'm not showing up for me anymore. It's not about me. So, and even that's exhausting. Like I'm tired from doing that the last 2-3 days. I'm giving 100%, but I'm doing it with intent of something else that I'm standing up for.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand in that respect, but I get to turn that off and I get to like sink back into my little dark hole of being by myself and being alone and being a freaking nobody. And it's something, it's such a good thing. It's such a good thing.
How do I form this question? Is being a celebrity then just not beneficial to society?
That's the real question. Who does it benefit? And there's a difference between, right, like, and that's something that's gotten really weird in the realms of politics and social justice and all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Why should a leader of a free world be a celebrity? Why can't they just be the leader of the free world? Why do they also need to be they're a public figure? Like, why do they also need to, and you're laughing because you're understanding why I'm asking this question. I don't know if there's a reason. It's just, the truth is, this is the way that, and again, when you watch, oddly enough, I told you how we weren't going to talk about Don't Look Up, but now we have talked about this movie throughout this entire episode, because I was telling Maria, I literally just watched it and just, I lots of things. So we'll talk about that in a future episode, but I don't understand that. I mean,
it's I mean the basis
we
was...
should have been celebrating the Obama family as celebrities, whether they were in the White House or not. But I mean, what are we left with? We need to look into the history of how like this whole thing happened with celebrities, because this wasn't the way the world was. First and foremost, it was not like even 50 years ago there were like a minute few people. But like why do we have that? And how did that come to be? And why is there no separate? It's like that whole like argument of like church and state. Now there's no separation between like church and state and celebrity.
Church and state and celebrity. Oh, as in celebrities and the state.
And like also that fine line between like celebrity and infamy, especially now.
And and celebrity and religion. Celebrity and religion, because Scientology.
So true. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are
I don't know. It's
societal questions that we are left to ponder.
Yeah, I don't know. I was laughing before because in the Philippines it's if you're typically a celebrity or famous, like you probably are a politician. That's why I was laughing.
And it's like,
because it's like you already are king or queen of the airwaves, so why not put your foot in politics?
And it's like, are you being celebrated?
For your political views, or
at the end of the day, then it becomes like are you being celebrated because of your power, and it's out of like fear because you're powerful? And this is like outside of just the situation in the Philippines, or is it like the reverse of like your power is what is making? Are you a celebrity because of your power, or is your power what makes you a celebrity?
Oh, I don't know, and I don't even know if that's like.
And
I
like,
don't know.
Are you celebrated and then that gives you power, and then that, or is it like you have power,
so that's why you're celebrated
because you have power? And then it's
I don't know.
That's gross. Both ways of that are gross, because then that defines what we give power to. And if you look at what we give power to, it's consistently money and whiteness.
Oh, there we go.
So that's another.
You made a realization here.
I mean, it's not. I'm not having this realization. I'm just saying it. I'm putting it into words. I have this realization every day, right? I look around and I have this realization every damn day, but I'm just putting it into words. And then the place where is celebrity status, is our popular culture just geared by that, and we say that it's relevant to the times and the status of like society, but if the whiteness and the money are the power that's driving all of that, it's not a true representation of our society anyway.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so
What?
the whole world's a lie. None of it matters. That's what I'm going to.
Well,
You've made no choices.
well, that's why, representation matters is always spoken
But
about everywhere.
this is also what, weirdly enough, like I said, this book encompasses everything. Alicia Keys talks about this in her book.
Yeah, I'm sure every
The music
BIPOC,
industry
like
talks about it.
representation matters.
Yeah, but she talks about it from the female standpoint, from the BIPOC standpoint, from the like being from the hood and like the I
Yeah.
hate the word underprivileged, but like
It is what it is, though, isn't it? Especially if someone of that status is using it. Did she use it in her book?
especially yes, but especially
So
with like I hate the word underprivileged because
why?
it's a very strong sense of less than, but
But
it's a stronger word than less than, right? But it is the true opposite of the word privilege.
and it is
And
truly what that is.
because, right, and that's what makes it
Yes.
uncomfortable. Like
For you.
for
right
me,
now. Yes.
right now. But just in general as a word, it's just it comes off with a lot more harshness as it rightly should, and it's not used enough in our language daily for it to be something that. And this, guys, I am really going into like this. I don't know what is happening. This is what happens when I watch a movie that makes me feel.
It's also night for us. It's also night.
Imagine what it's like to now try to sleep when this is what's going on in my brain 24/7.
Well, imagine, I mean, like, yes. But that's like and I keep harping on this BIPOC brain every night. Whether they admit it or not.
Right.
Right. Like whether they're aware of it or not. And also I think the underprivileged is less spoken in the white sense. But
oh yeah.
For me, it's not really harsh. It's just reality,
It's utilized only in moments. You hear the word underprivileged when there's some level of like crises that's happening and some white person's trying to make a point about an issue.
Yeah, they're showing their privilege.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like that's
yes.
And that's what I mean by it's not used enough for the power of that word to be understood as the norm opposition of the word privilege.
Mm-hmm.
Because underprivileged literally means less than. Yeah. And if we're not able, like our society still isn't comfortable with utilizing the word privilege to say like more than
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having this, and you're 100% right. It's something that I was at the place of being comfortable with recognizing myself having privilege, but because I am not a person of color, and this is something a good thing for me to start to recognize more too, I don't know what I still don't have enough understanding, and I never will have enough understanding of what the other side of. I get to say that I have privilege, but I'm not a person who says that I am underprivileged.
Yeah. So and like I won't know your side, so like I don't know what that, privilege
my connection means. To that it's just not.
It's never gonna be full.
It's just not. Right. It's just not.
You can read every, Alicia Keys type-esque, book about, their underprivileged lives.
Yeah.
And it'll hit just as hard, and you will never understand. And that's just the reality of it.
Yeah. But
and same thing, like I can read about a white person and their privilege. I'm like, that sounds great.
Yeah. But it's all about see that. It's all about the more perspective shifts. Even if you don't know what you don't know, right? And like not being able to really feel it on the same level, but the more
We're exposed to it.
Right. And plus, like, the privilege for me versus the privilege for somebody else who's white and what it looks like in our lives is going to be
Yeah.
different. And like
Complete.
the
Yeah.
underprivileged for like you as a person of color and the underprivileged for another. So like the more
Yeah.
that we can have conversations and the more that people put out their stories in ways that are inviting to let other people see in, the more perspectives that we can take on and
Hmm.
the more like empathetic we can be in understanding of one another. Even
Yeah.
if we can't fully like stand in their shoes, we can stand next to them in support of them as they're walking in their shoes. And that's
Right.
just something that is like a general
General overview of like, yeah.
in my mind I see all the people standing together holding hands like around the world, like that is the that is that
Yeah.
that is that.
Uh-huh. Great.
Well, someone needs to be in charge of us not having conversations after the sun goes down because or like I need to have a drink involved in this because
And I'm awake. So
I know I am now awake because now all of these things are going on in my head that I'm just ruminating over.
mm-hmm.
Well,
It's fine.
we're gonna have a really fun. You need to watch. Don't look up,
Yes, I will this week. I will put it on my
guys.
queue.
Oh, wow, Maria's gonna.
Well,
We're talking about something Maria's gonna do. She's gonna do it this week. I'm
if
amazed.
if I actually, yeah, oh damn. I really
Well,
put
you're gonna
myself.
need to watch. You're gonna need to watch like 30 minutes of it every day for the next week because it's long. It's
How long is it?
like it's over
I'm
2 hours. Also, when you see the ending credits,
yes.
it's just like a Marvel movie. There's more you have to watch, and the funny net, like a big chunk of like you can watch the whole movie, and then if you just watch the last 20 minutes, like it, if I would have not seen that, it would have sat wrong with me, and then you see it, you're gonna be like, okay, now I understand. Like this is a comedy. It's funny. I get
Ha
it.
ha ha. Okay.
Yeah, it sets you back to reality.
Great. I'll watch that this week.
Amazing. Have you also seen Sorry to Bother You?
Sorry to bother you.
Sorry to Bother You.
What is that? Sorry to
bother you.
You.
Don't read about it. Just look it up.
Is it a TV show or a film?
No, it's a movie. I think it was on Netflix or Hulu. I wonder if it even still is. You also need to watch that when you watch Don't Look Up because there's parallels to some of the like
Okay.
not a comedy. I'm gonna give you a warning that I didn't get prior to watching it. Just brace yourself. Sit tight. There are parts of it that are funny. I think the guy who's the lead in it is a comedian, if I remember correctly. So there are parts of it that are supposed to be funny, but it's like one of those things that's like too close for comfort kinds of funny.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
All right, I'll take a look at
both
that.
of those, and we will have a conversation.
Great.
I'm
Okay,
very-
lovely. I will at least get to one of them.
That's okay. The second one, I think they're both really long. So if you actually make it through one and we can talk about one,
Okay, we'll have a whole full-on
impressed.
conversation. Okay,
I'll be
great.
so impressed.
Great.
Well, I can only imagine if you are somebody listening to this, what you must be thinking on the other end of this conversation. I don't know if I should say you're welcome or I'm sorry, so I'm going to say both. And
And leave it at that.
whatever resonates with you, I really do mean it. And yeah, I will leave it at that. And with all of this stuff, I don't know how to bring it into our tagline, but you deserve to live your best life. And if your best life is watching the Kardashians, I guess maybe our tagline for this episode should be like, you deserve your best form of escapism from your actual life.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to watch more TV.
Okay, bye.